No, remember Hunter said that he's
I'm not going to do it a ton.
He's not going to celebrate.
I'm not going to do a ton of them.
Okay.
Ready?
Dang it, dude. It's my fault. It's me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Go back and
frick! Dang it.
That was such a waste of everything.
I'm really sorry. I don't know.
Welcome into the Bogey Bro birthday banter.
Oh.
Guess whose birthday in the comments?
Yeah, guess who?
Just guess who's in the comments.
It's Trevor. He's 35. How old are you actually? 22? 21? You just turned 19? No, we should make him guess. Guess how old Trevor is in the comments.
Yeah.
I'm 27.
No, he's 32.
I think he's 65.
I don't think we should ever be allowed to say what age we really are. I mean, I'm sure it's people can find it, but it's way funnier.
I wonder, you've made it when you can Google, like, what is Trevor Stahl's birthday?
Oh, yeah, see if you can Google it.
Because, like, that's how I find Brody's birthday.
I'm not going to pop up, but I don't have a Google page.
He doesn't either. You're 23.
I'm not.
Dang.
That's my baseball recruiting profile. That's the first thing that came up.
You're 39. You're born in 1983.
That's it.
You're from Maryland?
Yeah.
All right, there he is.
Merry man from Maryland.
Because if you search Brody, it just pulls from like a different site.
Well, he has a Google, like a Wikipedia, and like Google likes to pull from Wikipedia.
No, it's I don't think it's from his Wikipedia.
Or is it famousbirthdays.com or something?
Actually, it might be from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So because his just comes up and tells you his exact birthday.
Yeah, we're not that.
It's from Famous Birthdays.
Can somebody make us Wikipedia pages? Just so we can have that birthday Google thing? I don't care what it says. You can just slander me. You can say
you're not on Famous Birthdays.
You can say I'm an alien from the planet Zorg.
You're not on Famous
Look
Birthdays.
up my
Trevor.
birthday on Famous Birthdays. Though.
I just did.
See who else is on there.
Oh, 2.
I feel like we need. I don't know. Oh, there we go.
George Washington.
Number 1, baby.
Jacob Day is number 2.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Anybody else interesting on there? I know Rajon Rondo is also.
Steve Irwin.
Ooh.
Wow.
Same birthday as Steve?
That's some important people.
Drew Barrymore.
I mean, a little bit overrated.
Drew Barry. I want more. That's the stupidest song that this country's ever seen.
Dr. J.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
You mean Dr. Dre?
Nope. Julius Erving.
Dre by Beats.
Rajon Rondo.
See, I knew I had Rondo.
I love Steve Irwin.
Always had Rondo.
I miss him every day.
You've always had all these people.
I miss Steve Irwin every day.
Steve Irwin and George Washington, that was like the best that I've got.
I miss Steve Irwin every single day of my life.
Let me see my birthday.
And now Ken Block, too. I miss Steve Irwin.
I had the same
miss
birthday as
Ken Block.
Mr. Beast.
That trumps George Washington.
What about mine?
I also had the same birthday as Tommy Fury and Jay Balvin.
Try me.
That's crazy. Mr. Beast, that's dope, dude.
Do you know my birthday, Hunter?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, that's sick.
David Beckham.
Ooh,
dang.
I'm bending it like Beckham.
Dude, you got good genetics on your birthday.
Bam Bam? I don't know who that is.
Mr. Nightmare.
Oh! Mr. Nightmare, bro? Paul George?
Paul George.
I know Paul.
Boy George?
Did you know anyone can find anything about you on the internet, including your full legal name, your personal email, home address, phone number, and even your relatives?
What?
This information is accessible because of data brokers who profit by selling your information to robocallers, telemarketers, spammers, and anyone else that wants to learn more about you. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Aura. Aura will identify data brokers that are exposing your information and automatically submit opt-out requests on your behalf. What's our link? Aura.com/what?
Do we have? I'm almost surely we have one.
Is it probably just Foundation Disc Golf? Yeah, /Foundation Disc Golf. They'll even opt you out of junk mail and telemarketing lists. You can use our link, aura.com/Foundation Disc Golf, to try 2 weeks for free and see how many data brokers are sharing your information. It's also linked in the description, or you can scan the QR code on the screen right now. Aura also monitors your emails and passwords to see if they were involved in a data breach and exposed to the dark web, and gives you recommendations on what to do. They also feature a VPN, password manager, real-time credit and identity theft monitoring, internet parental controls, and protects your devices from malware. That's a lot. Aura has almost every internet safety tool you'll ever need, all inside one app. So let Aura do the hard work keeping you safe online. If you sign up right now, they'll give you a 2-week free trial with our link. You'll be shocked at how much of your information you find out there over those 2 weeks. So go to aura.com/Foundation Disc Golf to start your free trial. It's also linked in our description below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring today's episode.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else on here.
I gotta say, whoever invented the website Famous Birthdays is a genius, because they took data that was already very public and out there and rerouted it into this website that is just collecting Google AdSense out the butt. like it. Such a brilliant idea. And I don't know if it's as popular anymore, but I know people used to use it a lot. And like it makes you wonder what other amounts of like what famous birthdays website should we create where it's information that's already out there, it's public knowledge. We put it all in one spot and people are going to want to Google it.
It's got to be something that like pertains to you.
It's also like people. It's like the websites that have like what every day is as like the
Holidays.
national holiday day or no, not national, but whatever. Like today's hot dog day, like that kind of thing. Like what website are we making like those?
PDGA number.
Huh? Explain that one
Who
a
do
little
you have the
I
further.
same? Who do you have the same PDGA number as?
The PDGA numbers that are next to you. Like for me, it'd be like 77808 and 77806.
Or like, or even like who signed up on your day.
Yeah.
That could actually be interesting.
See?
Wait a second, because like there are a lot of pros.
But do we have that data?
No.
Well, yeah, PDGA has it though. We'd have to get it from them. But if they surely could figure it out.
Intellectual property claim.
Intellectual property claim.
You could also search everyone that's ever played a certain tournament.
I'd honestly wonder if my PDGA, if I still have an email from the PDGA from when I very first signed up, like if I used my current email, like if I go all the way.
Can't I log in? It just tells you member since a year.
I can't believe that.
Well, yeah, but I just want to know like to the day. Here it is. Oh, this is where it's still searching. So I renewed in 2015.
I'm a member since 2015.
I gotta go.
log in.
I gotta go way back.
I can't believe I have the same birthday as John the Rock Dwayneson.
The
That
oldest-
changes everything.
The oldest email I have is from 2015, and it was me renewing.
That was the year I signed up.
This was the year after. This was like my second year, and this was April 15th. So I probably signed up in April of 2014. Like what were they talking about? The inaugural St. Jude Charity Invitational event coming next month. That was on this email.
I remember that. That's
fun.
where didn't Bradley Williams kick a basket over at that?
I don't know.
Let me see.
Wow, dude, that's exciting.
Trevor, may I ask you a question?
You may ask me that question.
What do you want for your birthday?
Those
Here, let me go ahead and give you some
sweatpants.
backstory here.
I want those sweatpants.
You have these sweatpants.
I want yours.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it off my camera angle for a second.
Okay.
Please don't.
This is very. Anyway, go ahead, Hunter.
I don't have anything to say. I'm just not looking over there.
What are you talking about? Just be a professional and say what you're gonna say.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to say. I can't.
Continue.
This is what I needed.
I can't find. I can't. It doesn't have.
Why are you looking at me, Hunter?
It doesn't have the.
He's flustered, dude. He doesn't know what to do around us, man.
It doesn't have my order date.
Just bantering, man.
I was hoping it's gonna have my order date of like when I signed up on PDGA.
Thank you.
You can have him back now until later. I'll take him back. It doesn't say when your sign up date was.
No, I signed into my account.
I genuinely we joke, but I genuinely think that actually could be a cool one because imagine being like, oh my gosh, like I signed up the same day as Gannon Burr, like, cause Gannon Burr probably signed up at similar timeline to when I did. I would imagine.
What's his PDGA number?
Oh, that's a good. Oh yeah,
That's how you can just look it up.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's look in the. Here's what we'll do. Let's look in the pro field of the next tournament and see which pro has the closest to each of us, and see like who our closest ones are. Because that would be the best way to go. So let's see, PDGA number. I need to go to 63,000.
I can't see their PDGA numbers.
Yeah, you can. It's right there.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I have one that is like very, very close. So I'm sixth. I have a couple. 63415 is mine. Andrew Presno is 63765. So he's like a few hundred
I'm
off.
mighty close to Gannon Burr.
Are you?
Gannon Burr is 75412. I'm 77807.
Okay. Is that the closest to you?
No, the closest to me would be either Albert Tam or Charlie Moore. Albert Tam,
Yeah.
76669.
What's yours, Connor? Like 113 or something? No, it's earlier than that.
No, he was in the 100,000.
I thought mine was
No, he wasn't.
660.
Yeah, he was not in the 100,000. Hold on. Let me find it for you.
think mine ends with 660.
Yours is it is 113660. How did I knew the first part, you knew the second part.
Wow. That's perfect
So
match.
you're between Chris Pates and Jeffrey McCormick.
Oh, sick.
Ezra Aderhole signed up after you.
Ooh, after me.
And Brody
Yeah.
and Jeff
After
Chen.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
What?
And Chandler Kramer.
I'm better than Ezra? What? I could throw further than Ezra? What?
Jake Brown he signed up that late and he's that good. Oh,
That's
gosh.
crazy. I didn't know I had bigger muscles than Ezra.
Yeah, that's actually basically what that means.
Trevor,
What?
back to this whole birthday thing.
Yeah.
So, I want to get you something for your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not go crazy here, okay? I'm not a bajillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to get you something to give you. It's not going to be given to you today because I don't have it. But I would figured whenever we play golf on
Chris Dickerson's
Friday,
not playing Vegas. That punk.
on Friday, I would give it to you then.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to figure out what I want to give you.
You give me like a new ball marker for golf. That'd be electric. Like a golf related gift would be like.
I thought about going to Plato's Closet
Yeah.
and just picking you something out that I think that you wouldn't pick out for yourself, but is really cool.
That is honestly as a Konner gift, that would be the best gift you could give me.
What shoe size do you wear? 11 and a half?
I would go anywhere from 11 to 12. Anywhere
11
in
to
that
12.
range.
Okay. I feel like I always see really cool shoes
Yeah.
for
I do
for
pretty
that
well
size.
there.
And then but like medium or large for upper.
Large or XL.
Okay.
Like because XL because I'll wear it a little
It's
baggy.
bulky
Yeah.
season.
All right.
It is
all
bulking
right.
season. It's not.
What's but
And
I
then
don't
medium for the pants.
That was
medium.
intense
Okay.
golf.
All right. What if we're talking real pant sizes?
I'm like a 33 waist.
You know what sucks?
Okay.
I went to Men's Warehouse yesterday to get fitted for my friend's wedding, Stout.
Yeah.
That's,
I walk
that's
in,
tough.
and
I
we-
hate going there.
I start getting fitted, and she asked me what pant size I wear. I said I'm a 33, 32.
Yeah, I'm like the same.
And she's like, okay. And she goes, now, Stout did select extreme slim.
Oh.
And I said, is that okay? And I was
Heck
like,
yeah.
whatever he selected is fine.
I bet you looked hot as crap.
She's like, okay. So she gets me the
Extreme
33,
slim?
34, 35.
Extreme slim just still isn't skinny. Though.
Thanks.
So you do remember that's still not crazy.
That's true. That is true.
Well,
because
so I
I'd say
put them
skinny
on.
for skinny.
Waist, easy. Knee down, easy. Butt, even fine. Thigh, I mean, it might as well have been a rubber band. And dress pants,
yeah.
they don't stretch.
They don't.
No.
So I slide.
yeah.
I put them on, and I'm like, I can't move.
You're not moving. Yeah.
I had to tie my shoe after.
Oh, brutal.
So I like start to bend down. I was like, if I bend down and tie my shoe, I'm ripping these pants. So I had to straight leg bend over and tie my shoe. And I walked out. She's like, how's everything fit? I was like, everything fits fine. The pants are way too tight on the thighs. And she's like, oh, okay, so we'll just have to go size up. So I'm in 35 or 36 to 38 pants. So baggy on the waist,
Yeah.
but they fit the thighs.
They fit
I
the
texted
thighs.
Stout, and I was like, extreme slim, you madman. And he said, that makes a lot of sense. I had to wear a size 42 pants, and I couldn't figure out why.
That's funny.
Because he has
That
the
is
same
funny.
thing as me.
Yeah.
He
You
used to
got
get
thunder thighs,
He used to get it was
Chevrolet
a-
legs.
It was a brand called like Barbell.
Stout's a lifter. Boy.
Barbell something. And it was basically like powerlifting jeans because they were built to be like
Interesting.
fit your waist normal, but then be big in the thigh area.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I feel when I put on any slimmer jeans.
Because like I have my
constricting on my
American
thighs.
Eagle jeans.
Those
I wear
give.
the like
Those will stretch.
Well, I wear they're like skinniest cut on my light blue jeans, but they have that like AE flex or whatever.
Yeah, they
so
stretch.
like
I guarantee you it's not the skinniest cut. Because they got, you wear extreme skinny?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, dang, dude. I bet you look good in them things.
Oh, let me look it up.
I think I think the ones I have are the second skinniest cut. They're like they're skinny, but they're not extreme skinny.
I always go extreme skinnies, but they don't look ridiculous. They don't look super tight on me because I don't have that. I don't have huge legs. So like they're not like ridiculously tight on me. I also like my waist. I'm the opposite thing where like my waist is bigger and my legs aren't super big. So
Yeah, there's no worse feeling. The suit that I always have and still wear a lot. The pants are really fit me perfect, but the jacket is like
I can't find it.
not quite perfect around the shoulder. So if I get a little too aggressive, it's a little tight back there.
I don't own a suit anymore.
I've never wore a suit from Men's Warehouse that I liked, but it's not doesn't have to do with Men's Warehouse. It's usually the person that picks it.
The one I got married in, I liked.
I just hate going to a wedding and being in the wedding because like I look way better if I just attend a wedding than whenever I'm in a wedding. Because whenever I'm in a freaking wedding, I'm just wearing the widest pants that I've ever seen in my life. I could jump out of a plane and be safe because they would fully inflate and drop me to the ground. Oh my gosh,
I've never had that problem.
I
think
hate
all my friends all go like the skinniest, like slimmest cut you can get.
The only wedding I was ever in, I was like 15 years old. It was my uncle's wedding. He did like a really simple look because he actually got married. Him and his wife met working on the Disney Cruise Line, but then they worked together at this camp in North Carolina called Camp Harrison. Gorgeous camp. They got married at like this overlook pavilion thing. So it was like they wanted like a casual look for like the guys, and so they did sort of like khaki slacks, like a white dress shirt, and like these cardigans. I mean, it was 2015. But anyways, so I just had to wear khaki pants. I didn't have to wear dress pants. So I've never had to been styled into a suit for a wedding other than my own.
I've been in 4 weddings in the past 2 years.
Yeah, you've been getting busy. All of my friends that have invited me to be
3 years,
like if I was going to be in a wedding, they all live like all over the country. Like the kids I met in college. I mean, we're talking like Michigan, back home in PA, Texas, like all over the place. So that's tough, man. You meet all these kids in college. You know, one time
I like going to weddings though. I do.
I like being there. It's fun. This one time I was a freshman in college and there was this Halloween party in like one of the classrooms got rented out for it or whatever. It was just this, and like
this is where? This is for what?
It was at college.
In college, okay.
And I like ducked out pretty early because I didn't like it was a hall party situation, like brother sister dorm type situation. I was I don't really whatever. And one of the older guys in our hall, one of the wiser guys, was also leaving. We were in the elevator together, and like this is a nice guy. He was in like one of my CGL groups, and he was like, "Hey, man." And I was like, we were like talking about how like we both just kind of wanted to get out of there, like didn't really feel like mingling with that group. And he was like, I'm gonna give you some advice. He's like, here's the thing about college and freshman year in particular. He's like, your freshman year, there is an opportunity for you to make like 1 million friends, but here's what's going to happen to you. For the next 4 years, you're going to have to say hi to them every time you pass them. he was like, and then you're going to have like 100 people that you have to say hi to. You can't just walk past them. He's like, just don't do it, man. And I thought that was really funny.
That's like the best bad advice I've ever heard.
I know. Well, it's like funny because I loved like knowing everybody. Like that was kind of my vibe. Like I love being able to walk down the hall and be like, hey man. But like I just thought that was so funny. Like this guy was like, just don't do it. Just don't do it.
That is hilarious.
I remember that this day. My advice. If you're watching this, Caleb, I believe was his name. Hope everything's going well. He was a really nice guy, though.
You haven't heard about Caleb?
No, dude. He was a cool guy.
Real Job situation.
Don't remember his last name. There was this group of guys on our hall that he was a part of that was like considered like they were a lot of the halls like that I was on, especially my freshman year, were halls that were primarily younger kids because like we had first choice as a freshman. So like we snagged that hall. It was 25-1 on the circle. And so like there was this one group of like upperclassmen, like seniors that were like all kind of seemed above it a little bit. And they were like, everybody called them the Wolf Pack. There was like 6 of them and like nobody associated with them really. They were all just kind of did their own thing.
What was Caleb's last name?
They're like grown men.
Hearn?
No. Gosh, wow, dude, I want to say it was like. Sorry, I was trying to think.
No, not you. I said it looked at Connor.
I'm sorry, I was locked into.
I want to say it was like. I want to say it could have been Caleb Nash, potentially. I can't remember.
There's a lot of Caleb's. There's a lot of.
I know he was a really nice guy, and he actually.
That name sounds really familiar.
He was working for like Nabisco, dude.
I knew Caleb Tarpley. You know Caleb Tarpley?
No, I think this guy was working for like Nabisco. Like the Oreos.
Do you know Caleb Pern? Have you ever heard that name?
Oh, do I?
Yeah, it's too many Caleb Nashes.
I wonder if I follow him on anything. I don't know, dude.
Hunter, I told Trevor this yesterday. I found whenever my band did our concert in college.
Yeah.
My friend's dad like videoed all of it, and he put it in a Dropbox folder.
Okay.
And
I was there. I was there when you told him.
Yeah, and I found that Dropbox folder and realized that we did. What's that song called, Trevor?
Drag
Me Down by One Direction, and that was just like it was a very sobering memory that I was sitting there and I listened to the song and I was like, we covered a One Direction song at a rock concert. That's hilarious.
Like, was his name? I'm like
respect
doubting
that.
if his name is even Caleb at this point. I feel like we're LinkedIn connected.
You're linked? You're LinkedIn, man?
I'm scared now.
I've never been on Lincoln.
I don't
Is it
remember
cool?
his name.
Lincoln Park?
LinkedIn
I've never
is-
been on Lincoln.
LinkedIn's awesome, dude. But it's not, I mean, it's not incredibly useful in the disc golf world yet because there's not a ton of people on there. But I used it last night to vet somebody.
Dang, dude. Took
Yeah.
someone
You
to
found
the
a vet?
If
You
you
probably
want
should take him to, like, a
here's what I'll tell you about
pediatrician.
LinkedIn is if you want to find out if somebody is like, if they like work in certain industries and you want to find out what they're about, like if they're legit,
Oh, I want to know.
then just look at their LinkedIn profile and you'll find out pretty quick.
Every
'Cause,
time I type it in Lincoln, I never get anything.
if you have a very a seriously well set up LinkedIn profile, then my trust level just like goes up. And that could be false trust.
I better get on that.
You might just be a fraud, but
Lincoln.com.
But you also can have people like endorse you on LinkedIn. Like you can have people like endorse certain like traits of yourself. And so if you got good endorsements on there too,
Dang, dude.
yeah, man. LinkedIn is
You better know that if I
it's
had
a
a
lifeblood.
if I had a Lincoln account, then I'd be so endorsed on there.
yeah, LinkedIn is the lifeblood of the B&B industry.
The Airbnb industry. The bed and breakfast industry, if you will.
The baby industry.
I was making
Gerber.
an office joke. What is it that Dwight says is the lifeblood of the B&B?
Was it Yelp? No.
No, it was like what was it? What
It was some type of review website.
Yeah.
'Cause it was
Trip
something
Review? Was it Trip Review?
Yes,
Trip
I think it was
Review,
Trip Review.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Come on, guys. I watched that show. All right. I mean, we're 20 minutes into this, and we haven't even talked about the only thing that we need to talk about, which is this sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, what the heck are we doing here?
I mean, Hunter's just been over
Look
there
at
as
everybody!
patient as
Look at
can
what
be.
Hunter's got
Looking
on.
like a little field
I wasn't
mouse.
gonna just bring it up myself. I was like, I'm fine going the whole show not talking about
That would have been really funny if
That
like,
would've been very
Connor and I
funny.
would have had a bit that we're just like, hey, let's not let Hunter
it. I was
talk.
never gonna bring it up. Just so y'all are aware.
I forgot to.
That honestly could have been
I think it would
potentially
be more
funnier,
funnier if you were just wearing the hoodie and just
the
didn't
whole
say
time
anything.
and people were just waiting.
And for you audio listeners, Hunter is wearing a hoodie that proudly says, "I finished on Fortitude Hill."
I told y'all that they made this.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
but that means that you know because you listened to the last episode, you know that means that Hunter indeed
I finished
on Fortitude Hill.
he did finish.
First off,
Did you
now
meet Jim?
Stop.
Find out who Jim is?
Stop.
I did not meet Jim. We didn't finish indoors.
Oh.
Oh,
The reviews must have been from a previous race.
bull crap.
After
Dang.
the race, I heard several people be like, "I'm so glad we don't finish inside anymore." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Wow, what the frick?" Like that was all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't say that and look at Connor because he.
what? I didn't do.
You broke. You
That's
broke.
not true. I've never broken.
No, it was awesome.
Broke back.
Both
the-
breath.
It was nowhere near as bad as I expected, which was
Hunter,
great.
just give us the deets. Everybody wants to
So-
know the dirty
Give
deets.
us the juicy deets, man.
Give us
so
the juice.
so
Juice my deets, dude. Come on.
morning of we showed up, parked, walked across the street, and when I get in the field, there was like some people were very intimidating because you had your like
Oh, sure.
super serious, like it was like 35 degrees.
You were serious.
It was like 35 degrees, but the people who were there to like win this thing were already broke a sweat, and they're in like their track tank tops and the shortest shorts you've ever seen, and like that's it.
They're ready to rock and roll.
And I was like, how are you surviving? 'Cause
And
I was
they're
wearing-
runner shaped to where they look like they're just made out of muscular bones.
Yeah, that's all they were made of. I was in like I had a thermal base layer, so like my like thermal pants and what is freaking compression shirt?
I wonder if they're using. So I heard in the NFL, like the secret, you see all those guys like that are wearing no sleeves.
Yeah.
And in the freezing cold, and their secret apparently is this like Tiger Balm stuff that they put on.
That makes sense.
And it basically gives them a little layer.
That
from
would
the
make
cold.
sense.
like an otter.
So I'm wondering if that's
that
the thing
could
that
be
runners
something.
are
Ottered
Well,
up.
the one guy.
I'd also believe that they're just crazy.
I was gonna say the guy that won. By the time I saw him, he had already ran 7 miles before the race even started.
Dude's
ran
an
7
animal.
miles
He ran a
before-
6.5 mile warm up
well, at
at
his
like a
pace,
7-minute
bro.
pace.
Yeah, say at his
crazy.
pace, that's less than an hour. He's just
Yeah, so the guy who won
That's
ran
bizarre.
the entire thing in an hour and 9 minutes at a 5:22 mile pace.
that's
That
awesome.
is
Which
so
like I don't
bizarre.
think I can physically sprint that
That is
fast.
so awesome.
I saw him
That is sprinting as basically as fast as you can.
for us for a normal
yeah.
human.
For-
Well, but like so Elliot
10 miles?
Kipchoge, what's his name? Kipchoge?
Is it 10
The-
miles?
Oh, the Ethiopian
13.1.
guy.
13.1 miles sprinting basically as fast as
So
you can.
the fastest marathon runner of all time
He runs it at like a 4.
He runs at like a 4 minute some pace.
Yeah.
So
for a marathon.
crazy.
And there's like
twice as long.
You'll see like
I think he did a sub 2 hour marathon.
there's a
didn't he?
museum that has a treadmill where you can try and hop on and it's set to his marathon pace.
No
and people
way.
can't run it for more than like 10 seconds
Like,
before they fall over.
Elite
That's
runners
so
can only run
crazy.
it like
a
I've seen like
minute.
elite runners get on there and run it for like 2 minutes.
Because it is a
and that's it. He did it for an
and
hour
that's
and
with
59
something
minutes.
propelling your feet for you too.
It's
Yeah.
a very elite mile pace. Like it's a very
Yeah.
and he runs it for 26.
And when
That
he
is
runs
so
it,
bizarre.
his running form's like so good that he just like cruises.
Oh, he's just gliding.
like
yeah.
he's just like
Dude's just gliding.
That is so crazy.
that was not how the guy who
Is he got,
ran.
is he
this-
tall? Is he a tall guy? Real long
He's
legs?
long. Yeah, long
Yeah.
legs. The guy who won this race, he was not gliding. He
was fighting.
He,
He was
stomping.
he had pain in his face. He was like,
That's what I'm talking
he was running
about,
away
man.
from something. That dude runs. That dude runs to not deal
was
with
running
something
away from
in his
himself,
life.
dude.
He's been trying to outrun his demons for years and just turned it into a hobby.
That dude runs to get away from something. I don't know what it is, but
That's awesome, dude.
so
Whenever I'm running is the only time that the voices
we
stop.
got to we get to the field and they had us like line up in the field and then the drum
what if-
line
what if Goggins
walked
would've
us
been
out.
there?
That would have been intense.
Dang,
Well,
dude.
so they
Daniel?
did have. So it was
Daniel
You don't know
Goggins.
me.
a half marathon and ruck, which I didn't know what a ruck was,
what
but it's
the
where
heck is a rug, dude?
What
it's
the
like
ruck is
a
that?
Weighted,
Yeah.
The weighted backpack.
Oh, that's
So there was the person who I actually paced myself with was rucking.
they were rucking.
So he had a weighted backpack on, but I could
That's
tell.
rucking
I looked at
stupid.
his legs. I looked at his legs and him, and I was like, this isn't this guy's first rodeo. After the race, I learned he's ran 20 marathons.
Swag, dude.
So that he was just
Is
like,
he
one-
fitting in those extra slims?
Oh heck
no,
yeah!
dude, you can't.
No, he's a runner.
He's rugged out, bro.
This is his leg. But no, so and then there
Sinew.
was some like
I
there was
don't know
a
what that
few
means.
like army ROTC guys that had like the full army pack and like the boots, and they weren't running. They were like fast march. So like I passed them during like the first a few hundred feet.
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, that's gonna be insane.
Well, there's
They
a
were, like,
base right. There's a base right there.
yeah,
So,
we're in Williamsburg. But anyways, so the drum line like led us to the start line, and then I was like trying to find
That's really
where I
cool.
wanted to
Yeah,
be
it is.
because typically when I start a race, I burn a lot of energy passing
I
people.
mean, were you pumped at this?
Oh, my
point?
heart rate was probably the highest at the start.
Yeah, you had to be just
Of
jacked.
nervous.
mainly like you just being nervous.
Oh, so nervous.
Oh, dude.
Well, because like
that gets me fired up, man.
I knew I
miss
was
it.
gonna get to like mile 9 or 10, no doubt. But I was like, those next 3 miles, I don't know how much energy I need. Like I
You
don't
gotta
know
fight.
what I
You
need.
gotta fight.
And so I just got to the back. I was like, I'm gonna just get to the back and I'm gonna just start slow and I'm gonna let everyone sort themselves out and then I'll
Yeah.
pass people if I need to pass people.
What flavor Gatorade gels are we going into this with?
yeah.
I took a mango before.
Give vanilla
15
out of
minutes
there.
before.
Stupid.
I had an apple pear and a mango on me.
So
long
neither
as
of your
no
two
vanilla.
favorite flavors.
It was great. They were
No,
fine.
vanilla was a second favorite, bro.
Yeah, I know, but it's not right for a race though.
No, but I felt fine with it.
Okay,
and I
okay.
brought my own water. I didn't use their water.
You're holstered
because-
up.
Yeah, because that's how I trained, and so I
Yeah.
didn't want to. And it was a good
You
good
practice
call.
how you play.
So
You play how you
we
practice.
The race starts in downtown Colonial Williamsburg, and you like went through the downtown completely flat for the first
I say that had to be the most
maybe
like
3
enchanting
miles.
part of the
I
run.
can actually like tell my elevation profile.
I was thinking when I was thinking about your run, I was thinking like those first few miles downtown. That's a great time.
Yeah, the first 3 miles super easy. I was going slow.
Yeah.
I was going like 10:50 pace. It
You're
looks
having
like
the time of your life.
super easy. I passed a few people that I was like. That's when I actually on mile 3 is when I found the guy, and I decided I'm pacing myself with him because he was running like the same pace as me, and I could tell he wasn't going to stop running. A lot of people running that pace at the start, you could tell like they're not going to run this whole thing. I was like, he's going to run this whole thing, so I'm gonna pace myself with him until he runs too fast, and I ended up passing him mile like 11. So I stayed with him for like 8 mile stretch. Me and him, I was behind him.
Wow, that's
And then there
smart.
was one other group, when I was like at mile 4, this girl stopped to tie her shoe and then got behind me and then passed me at like mile 6. And I stayed with her till mile 12. So like
Okay.
us three, she apparently knew the guy. I
Y'all-
learned that after the race too.
Y'all were squad.
I just followed her.
Yeah.
Followed her / him because they would pass each other back and forth a little bit and I just stayed behind him. I was like 50 feet behind him the whole time. I was like, here we go.
Stalking them.
Because I was like, they both looked like they knew what they were doing. I was like, they know how to pace themselves. I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pace
Good
myself
call.
with them.
Good call.
So first few miles, well, then once you get to about mile like 3.5 ish, is when you get on the road. Because I looked up the road names and everything. I knew the course decently well, but I didn't know what the course was going to look like. But you got on this like South England street or whatever, and that's what you're on until mile like 12. So once you get on it, you just go out and back.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got on it, what it allowed me to do was I would go down like around mile 4. I went down this pretty big hill, and then I went up, and then I went down this huge hill. And at the bottom of this huge hill, I saw on the other side of the street the 12-mile mark. So I mentally noted, as soon as I finish mile 12, there's a massive hill. So I need to be prepared for that.
This guy is smart.
Well, then you just go uphill for a solid like half-mile stretch at least.
That's tough.
And this is where like we started just passing people because like people started really. There's apparently a marathon strategy or half marathon strategy, probably a marathon strategy too for a lot of people is like walk all the uphills.
Yeah.
So people just like jog and then they walk uphill because every uphill, I just stayed my same pace. I train on hills luckily, and for some reason I always just push hills. So when I get to a hill, my pace typically...
You're supposed to. That's the way that they really tell you is push up the hill and then regenerative break yourself down the hill.
So down hills I like recover, and then up hills I lean into the hill, shorten my stride, and push.
Yeah.
So my pace typically goes up hills. So there's a few times that I like that 50-foot buffer, I would like close it, and on the uphill I was like, I need to just slow down. It was very hard for me to slow down.
Yeah, you gotta just get. You're just dying when you're on that hill. You got to get up.
So we were passing a lot of people on every uphill at the start because eventually, once you got to like mile 5 or 6, then like now everyone's kind of in their pace is what it seemed like. So mile 4 we go down, then we go uphill, and about mile 5 I get to like mile 4.75 probably by the course one, like the way like where the signs are, if I had to guess, and my watch goes off and tells me I've ran 5 miles. I was like, that's interesting, like it's telling me that early. And then like I ran like another probably 0.1 mile. Phone goes off in my ears, tells me I ran 5 miles. So it like tells you mile 5 complete, your pace, all that. And then probably another 0.1 is where the actual mile 5 sign is. I was like, I wonder why my watch and my phone did that. Like I wonder I'm off from the course. Well, that would end up being the like probably the hardest mental part of the whole thing. Because it got worse and worse and worse.
Oh, you just knew.
So like by the time like mile 6, I would like my watch would go off and say 6 miles in, and I'm the actual official mile sign is nowhere in sight. And I'm like, my watch would be like, and I'd look and it'd tell me like my pace on my watch, and then like 100, 200, 300 feet later, my phone would tell me my pace, and mile sign is still nowhere in sight.
That sucks.
So I started like around mile 6 or 7. 2 things happened. First off, I realized like I'm about to do this because my legs felt great. Like I was like, I've paced myself well. Like I could actually start pushing if I want. I feel great right now. So I realized I was about to do it. So I started like getting excited because I could like be like, man, it's gonna be so cool when I finish and see Liz standing out there and like I actually gonna do it. But then the secondary thing is I was like, how long is this course gonna be?
Right.
Because like, what am I in for right now? Because someone the night before on Discord had told me that they mapped out this thing and they said it was like 14 and a half miles. So just be prepared. I was like, that can't be right. They mapped it out wrong. But then now 6.5, like I'm about halfway into this race, and I'm wondering like, was that person right? Like what am I? So then I'm like, on one hand, I'm like really excited because I'm like, I'm about to do this. Like I'm halfway, and my legs feel incredible. Like no pain, no like they don't even feel tired yet.
That's awesome.
But the other side of my mind's like, okay, but you might have to go like an extra mile, like literally an extra mile, not actually like not metaphorically. But because like going into it. And last week, obviously, if it wasn't for y'all, I might have dropped out. But I was okay with walking when I showed up to that line. I didn't like that I was okay with walking, but I was. I was like, Hunter, you just got to finish this one. Mile 7.5, I'm getting close to the turnaround point. I'm like, I'm not walking. Like, there's no shot. Like, I can do this. I'm not going to walk. That's my goal now is I'm not going to walk. So then at mile 8 was the turnaround point. There's a drum line there. I think actually that mile 8 hill you ran, so it was kind of brutal the way they did it. At mile like 7.5 or so, you go down this big hill, then it levels, then you go down a big hill, and then you run up a hill, and at the peak of that hill is the turnaround. And you turn around, and then you run back down, and then when you run back up this big hill, at the peak of that hill is when you've completed mile 8. And I think when I ran back up that hill is when I finally passed the one dude I was pacing myself with. Because from mile 8 to like mile 11, there's a few people behind me, But then there was the one girl that I said, like, there was that guy, the girl, and then me. It was me behind her. I was like 50 feet behind her, and then there was no one in front of her at all. And so then I was like, if I pass her, I have to pace myself.
You're in no man's land.
But what ended up happening, so I was running, I'll read you my mile paces up to this point. 10:49 mile 1, 10:39 2, 10:44, 10:52, 10:24. This is when like I started pacing myself with her instead of him. 10:24, 10:29, mile 7, 10:17, mile 8 we passed him 10:34, mile 9, 10:21, mile 10, 9:58. So mile 10, I finished it. I finished mile 10, and that's also like now I'm in new territory for me.
This is what I want to hear about. These last 3 miles, that's what I want to hear about.
So mile 10,
the miles you've never ran before.
The water stations were like every 2 miles. So mile 10, again, my watch and my phone, which I just read from my phone, go off, and mile 10's marker's nowhere in sight. So my watch went off, and my watch told me I was at like 9:45 pace. I was like, that's not good, Hunter. But I was like, okay, but again, there's no one near us in front of this girl. So if she leaves, then I'm pacing myself, which means my legs still felt pretty good. They were starting to like feel a little heavy, but they still weren't hurting or anything yet. But I was like, if I lose her, I'm pacing myself. If I passed her somehow, I'm pacing myself. So like I have to stay with her. So I was at 9:58 is what my headphones go off. 9:58. I know there's a water / Gatorade station at mile 10. But mile 10's nowhere in sight. I in my mind have completed mile 10. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is as far as I've ever ran, but I don't see the mile marker anywhere. So I keep running. It was probably a quarter of a mile till I got to the mile 10 marker in the aid station. And at this point, like my body just wanted Gatorade. So I was
that
like,
is so defeating to run that long, like past what you.
Oh, it was brutal.
Really defeating.
I wish I didn't have like notifications.
Yeah.
Because like if I was just running by the mile markers,
Right.
I'd been feeling fine.
Yeah.
Because really a quarter mile when you're 10 miles in wasn't that much different.
Yeah.
But it was depressing when you're like, I've got 3.1 more miles according to my phone, but I just ran another quarter mile of that, and I'm not even at 10 mile yet. So I drank some Gatorade, which was like the first time I've ever drank Gatorade during a run. But I was like, I've had Gatorade my whole life. This isn't going to mess me up. And it didn't. And so then I ran mile 10. And she's luckily, I think she must have messed up too because she slowed down, which was great for me because I was like, I need to slow down. But I, again, didn't want to have to pace myself because I also didn't want my pace to drop too much.
Yeah.
And then I screwed myself the other way. So she slowed down. So luckily, I got to slow down, ran mile 10. And then mile 11, you go like up to this hill. Or no, when you finish mile 11, finishing mile 11, my legs were definitely like starting to get pretty heavy. And there was this one dude I noticed before the race. He was wearing like an Air Force squadron or whatever it's called, like crew neck. The dude's legs were built like Saquon Barkley. Like the dude looked fit as all get out. Like I looked at him, I was like, holy crap. Like you knew he wasn't going to win. He wasn't a runner. But you could tell like this dude didn't mess around. Yeah. Like he probably had like 5% body fat. And I was like, dang. So he started in front of me and he went out at probably like a 9-minute pace. Like he was gone. I was right next to him when we started. He was gone. Well, around mile 11, he's cramping on the side of the road. And I like jogged past him. I like looked at him. I'm like,
some just aren't built for it, man.
Well, no. I was like, oh,
Hunter.
frick. Like if that, it was a moment because like everyone else I was passing, like they looked like me. Like it wasn't like like, oh shoot, I just passed an athlete. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like I wasn't in uncharted territory of I was like, holy cow. And you know, anyone can cramp. So I'm not saying anything about this dude. But like when I saw him cramping, then I was like, I need to really make sure I'm hydrated and stuff. I took my first gel at mile 5, second gel at mile 9, which I planned to take my second gel at mile 10, but I was just like wanting to make sure that I didn't get to where I was depleted, and then so I just took the gel a mile early at mile 9. So when I got to like mile 11 and I see this dude cramping, I don't have anything on me if I cramp. So if I cramp up, basically I have to make it to the next aid station, which is mile 12. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like, I looked at that dude, and that was like a frick realization of I was like, my legs are starting to feel kind of like heavy, kind of like achy. Like it wouldn't surprise me if I cramped at this point.
Yeah.
And so I just like was like, screw it, get that out of your mind, keep going. So I just like kept going, but like it was in the back of my mind, I'm like, do not cramp, Hunter, but there's nothing you can do to stop cramp. And so then we get to mile 11 finishes and mile 12 starts. And I know at the end of this mile, big hill.
Are these cramps in your legs that you're saying?
I'm not cramping yet.
But
I just feel
this is what you're nervous about?
Yeah.
Is cramps in your legs?
Yeah. And so I'm like starting to feel tight. My legs are feeling heavy. I can tell my body's never done this before at this point.
Okay.
Like it doesn't feel like my body's shutting down or anything, but it's getting a lot harder to get my legs to keep going at the pace I'm going. Mm-hmm. And so I run up a hill. The elevation profile, I think that what happens is like the other thing that made this race brutal a little bit was the first several miles you're in beautiful downtown Colonial Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Lots to look at.
Right.
Mile 4 till mile basically 11 and a half-ish. Actually, probably right at 12. You're just in the woods.
Yeah.
And it's on a trail
tough.
that's like three people wide. So what also made that tough was, first off, back to the guy who won, mile 5, we're on this like little bridge that goes across a lake. So I'm 5 miles in, which is, I was about 50 minutes or so, and that was about the mile, like, I guess it would be like mile 11 on the way back out, somewhere in that range. That's when I see this dude.
Okay.
But with that, so he blitzes by us, and like the people around me, like everyone that was racing on our side, we're obviously all going slow compared to him. Everyone just starts cheering because like I'd never seen someone run that fast, and plus he's 11 miles into this thing, so he flies by us. But then what that meant was the rest of this thing, like he probably had like a minute or 2 minute lead on the next person. But once you get to that person, the rest of this trail until we get to the turnaround point, there's people on both sides, and it's only 3-person wide. So the people
That's
on
kind of
the
annoying.
the people on the left, like pretty much everyone was at least seemed to be on the same understanding as me. Is like I would hit some people who were like walking or going really slow, but if there were people on this side that were trying to pass, you obviously gave them priority because like they're actually racing for something.
Yeah, they're trying for a time.
They're trying to like, like I'm just here to finish. They're racing for something. Like they're running 6 minute pace. So for a solid chunk of it, like you like the dude I was pacing myself with would pass someone, and then me and the girl would be like stuck behind someone else.
Yeah.
And then she would pass, and then I'm stuck, and then I would pass, and then you'd have to like kind of speed up to get back to your pace.
So just speed up, slow down.
Yeah, so it was a little brutal. And then, but once you hit the 8 mile mark and turned around, then you were kind of the one that was given priority.
Yeah.
So like, there's a few people because like around mile like 7 or 8 on, slowly but surely, people just started walking. Like it just started chipping down to like if you were passing someone, they were walking.
Yeah,
And, like everyone was walking at some point. So then, anyways, for me, I get to like mile 11. Still, the only time I stopped and walked was through the aid station when I drank the Gatorade. That was it. I stopped, drank my Gatorade, threw it down, and kept going because I didn't want the chance of spilling Gatorade all over myself. Didn't want to be sticky.
Who does?
And then mile 12, I like run 11. You like go down this hill, and then you get to the bottom. Completed mile 12 on the course. Mile 12 on my phone, on my watch, completed like 100 feet after I finished mile 11. So I was like, watch, phone, I'm ignoring at this point. Screw them because they're wrong.
But you've completed mile 12 and you have your last mile left. Well,
So I get to the bottom of the hill.
1.3 miles, right?
13.1. So I get to mile
13.1. So you're basically at your last mile.
So I have like another mile left.
What's
So
what's at your head going into this mile?
Well, now I'm kind of like, my head's not in the race. I'm just like, I don't know where my head's at, to be honest with you. I was kind of blacked out.
You're on autopilot.
It was like the dark part of the race.
Okay.
Like it's
no, see, that's what I want to know.
It's like you fighting yourself.
Okay.
Because like I was fighting the urge to walk because my legs are extremely heavy.
Okay.
They were starting to ache. My cardio, my breathing, all of that was fine. Like I was breathing through my nose pretty much the entire race. But my heart rate was starting to like go up because I was having to push myself harder. And you were hitting the early part of the race, like mile 3 to like 6 was really hilly. And then you had like one hill at 7-8, but that meant mile 10 to like 12 was really hilly. So like I'm in the midst of all this hilly part, and I know that like every hill I go up, I'm like, that's one less one I have to do now. Like I've already done this hill, I just did it the second time. But I get to mile 12 and it's at the golf course, and I mean, the hill is like, it was like the Lake Vista hill.
Yeah.
Like it was an intense hill, and so I started going up it, and I got like 100 feet up it, and I just like had this moment where I was like, if I run up, I can make it up this hill, I think. But if I make it up this one, there's still like 3 more hills that aren't as bad as this one. I didn't want to walk across the finish line. So I was like, I can walk now up this hill, or I can try to make it up this hill, and I might cramp or something, because like there wasn't much downhill left. It was like up, flat, little down, and then up, and then you're at the finish line. So I knew it was just literally all uphill to the finish. And I was like, so I got maybe 50 feet, 100 feet into the hill, something like that. And then I was like, no. And so I let myself walk.
I'm proud of you.
From, it was probably like a 200, 250 feet up the hill. I don't know. I mean, not elevation wise, but like the rest of the hill. Mm-hmm. So I walked up that, and then that's when I lost the girl. She just kept going. So now I had no one now, but there was a lot more people that were also walking at this point. So now we were back like in a crowd. And so then I got to the top of that hill. And then what was nice about the top of that hill is I jogged and I went down, and there was another decently big hill. And I was like, I let myself walk. I'm not walking anymore. And when I got like halfway up that hill, you could see a corner. And then there was a woman standing there at halfway up this hill. And she said, hey, when you get to that corner, you're quarter mile out. I was like, okay. So then you could like see it. I'm like, oh, quarter mile. That's only like 2.5 minutes of running. Mm-hmm. Like I'm so close. But you're still like, at that point I was probably 0.4 out. But once you knew like, oh, a quarter of a mile, it's just kind of how your mind starts working. I was like, quarter mile is it. Like I'm basically there. And then I got to the corner and they're like, hey, when you see that person right down there, he's 0.1 out. I'm like, oh my gosh, 0.1, I'm here. I've done it. So then I ran like slightly down to him, and then you get to him and he's like top of the hill right there. That's the finish. You're like, oh my word, I've made it. And so then you run up Fortitude Hill, joke of a hill. That was the easiest hill on the whole thing. It was like a little incline like this that lasted for maybe 0.1, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then you ran up that and you turned the corner and there was the finish line. And Liz and Luca were sitting right next to the finish line. So once I turned the corner, then I was like, wow, there it is. I've done it. And I finished the race. And obviously I had warned Liz before. I was like, I don't know what shape I'm going to be in after this race. Like, I just want to finish. We had a 3-hour drive home after. I was like, do not expect me to drive. I was like, sitting in the car for that long alone sounds terrible after that long of a run. And so I finished and I was like, let me go walk in and get like, I need water. I want pizza. They also had like muffins and bananas. So I got like some pizza, muffin, a banana, and a bunch of water. Came back out and drinking. She was like, how are you feeling? I was like, my legs feel like surprisingly good right now. Like I can't feel them. Like they feel numb,
but they don't hurt too bad.
But I don't feel any pain. Like my knees hurt to bend a little bit. Like they were starting to get like a little tight, but I don't feel any like pain. Like I thought I'd be like limping at this point. Yeah. And so she's like, well, can you like, do you feel like you can drive? Like it'd be good if we could like get to Richmond, which was like an hour away before we ate lunch. Like, can you drive to Richmond? I was like, yeah, I can drive an hour. Yeah. Like that's probably no problem. So we get in the car and we start driving. And I didn't really stretch that much after the race. And I thought I would regret that. Well, around Richmond, Luca falls asleep. And so Liz is like, we can't stop for lunch.
No.
I understand. So she's like, well, let's just drive to Charlottesville, which is another hour. Yeah. So then at that point, I'm like, I got to drive 2 hours. So we drove 2 hours. So we get to Charlottesville. We pull in to Torchy's Tacos. And I park the car. And like, I was terrified. Because like sitting there, I didn't feel bad at all.
But you know, as soon as you had to straighten those legs back out.
What I told Liz, like, what you're probably about to see is I'm going to open this door. I'm going to step out and you're going to see me collapse. Yeah. Like I'm probably going to go to use my legs and not going to work. And so I opened the door and I swung my legs out. I'm like, oh boy. And I stood up. I felt great.
Dang.
Like
wow.
they felt incredible. I was like, what is that?
Dude,
what is
you're
happening?
A beast.
And so we walked into Torchy's. I got a trailer park. Got it trashy, of course. 2 trailer parks, trashy.
Trashy.
And then got some chips. We walked over to Duck Donuts. Got some Duck Donuts.
It's awesome.
And then I got in the car and drove home. Still felt good. The rest of the day, I felt fine. So we got home probably around like 5 or 6, and we just kind of stayed around the house the rest of the night. Then we went to bed, and then I woke up Sunday morning, and there was the pain. Sunday morning, I like woke up, and I woke up probably like 3 a.m. because Luke was crying, and Liz was like, can you heat him up a bottle? I'm like, yeah. And then I went to roll over, and everything hurt. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. And Liz was like, what? I was like, I'm in so much pain. I went to stand up, and like bones I didn't know existed were hurting. I was popping. It was bad. And so when I got up at like 6:30 on Sunday, the first thing I did is I just stretched and I used that massage gun, especially my quads quads and my IT band were on fire. But once I massaged them out and stretched a lot, I stretched for probably like 30 minutes. Then we went to church, and walking into church, I felt a little sore, right? But I was fine. And then come Monday, I felt like back to normal.
I mean, you're built for this.
Dang.
That's what I told Jason. Jason,
have you been on a run?
I've not went on a run. Well, okay. I picked up Liz's head cold Sunday, which Lizzie got a cold Friday.
I've got a little bit of a head
and
cold.
So I was like terrified. I was going to wake up Saturday sick.
Yeah.
Woke up Sunday a little sick. So I was like, luckily it made it. So now I'm like, my body's recovered from the head cold completely. I just have like a little bit of like, I'm stuffed up, as you can probably hear. So I'll probably go for a run on tomorrow or Friday.
Dude.
I might wait till Saturday and just run like 5 miles on Saturday and just see where I'm at, see where I'm feeling.
But that's crazy.
I was telling all this to Jason, and because Jason was asking, because Jason's ran multiple marathons, half marathons, a half Ironman. He's done all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. He's a man.
And so he was like asking me how the race went, and I explained it all to him. He's like, yeah. And then he asked me like how my soreness was after, and I explained it to him. He goes, yeah. He goes, okay, so you were making it all up, or he said something like that. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you were ready. Like, your body was fully ready for that race. He's like, because like you recovered in like a day and a half.
Well, you've been training for it.
You were
but
ready.
like I
That's
didn't.
what I tried to explain
going
to
into
you.
it, I just didn't feel ready. And now,
now though, it was the unknown. It was the unknown.
Yeah, I'm very proud of myself for finishing it. But the only thing that I'm a little upset at myself at now that I'm done, I definitely could have ran up that hill.
You didn't know though.
Now that I'm done, I 100% could have done it.
Because you know now that
It was
your
a
legs
few
could
hundred.
handle it, but you
It's
didn't
It's
know
a few
that.
hundred feet
Because like
though.
realistically, body wise, once I finished the race, I probably had another mile or two in me. Like I probably could have done.
You never know, though.
if it was asked of me.
It's totally the
But
unknown.
at the bottom of that hill, I just let my mind win.
What if I just
couldn't
pranked
do it.
you and I just took that hoodie that you have and it said I finished on Fortitude Hill and then I wrote with Sharpie underneath it, but I walked a little.
I would accept it.
I'm so jealous. That sounds like the best.
That is
thing
awesome.
ever.
Yeah, so
that inspired me. That made me.
It
that
makes
made
me miss running so much.
It made me feel like running was fun. It made me excited for the next.
Well,
time
that's
I
why
run.
race days are what makes running
race days,
fun
it was
because the sense of accomplishment. And I've never even done the half marathon. It makes me want to run again so bad. I just wish that my ankles would cooperate.
Yeah, because mile 12 to 13, I ran at a 12-minute pace because that's the mile I walked. And so my pacing would have been a little better. Like I probably would have been like around a 10:30-ish if I didn't have that 12-minute mile in there. But
So exciting.
I was 10:38. I'm happy with it. I was proud of it for my first half marathon. There's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like my ankles are getting slightly better. Like as I press on them, and they don't hurt too bad.
I think
Maybe
I
this
think
summer
I
I'll
learned.
try and get back into it. I just don't want to get hurt again.
I think I learned what would motivate me, and I still don't know if it's going to be my thing just to go out and run. I think I'd like for it to be, but what could get me into it is that yesterday when I was running for our workouts, it made me so excited how much better I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I think that's what would push me, because like just the feeling of like for our last like 200 meters we were running, I could kick it into another notch and sprint just for the fun and for I'm working out with some friends, so just the laughs of running past some of them and sprinting, and like, but I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
The rest of the workout I did after that sucked, but like able to do that, it made me like excited about running. And like whenever you were saying that, like talking about running just then, Hunter, it made me excited to go out and run again, just because I knew I could do better now than I did 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's what like when I first started running.
But I still don't think I could run a full mile without walking.
But like that's how you got to start, because like with because when we first started, when we were doing the running club, you even started it with us.
we were doing a
I did it
mile.
once.
We were doing
A mile 3 times a week.
mile 3 times a week,
And
and
it
it
was
was brutal.
It was brutal.
It was
We
brutal.
started
And
in
then
the
we got to
summer.
like 2 miles, and I remember I texted Trevor the first time, like I got to like a 9-ish minute pace for 2 miles. It was like
it was a big
insane.
deal.
And like now, well, because like that's sometimes you like, I can look at, like I just pulled up the winner, right? And I can look at this dude. First off, there's a picture of him. I won't show him on the internet, but I'll show Trevor right now, and then I'll show this is the face I'm talking about. Look at this dude.
That's awesome.
That's the dude that won.
That guy.
First
is
off, look at his
awesome.
leg.
Yeah.
The
heck.
muscular
Screenshot it
definition.
and send it to me.
This dude is no joke. But you can look at someone like him, and I can be like, he finished an hour and 20 minutes faster than me, right? But I can look at like my first like long runs, I like was running at a 12-minute pace. Like that was my whole long run. Was like I went out at a 12-minute pace, and like that was what like this race. That was what I was like most disappointed in, is I had a mile at a 12-minute pace.
Yeah.
And like so 10:38 is like slow for me now. Well, not for a half marathon. That's the fastest I've ever ran.
Heck
really
yeah.
But it's like slow for me now, but like that 9 minute for 2 miles, I've now ran a 10K at a 9-minute pace. And like stuff like that is it's similar to golf and disc golf, where like it's a individual sports like that. There is so many people won that half marathon.
Right.
Because like for me, I
That's
won
the best
because
thing about
I
running.
finished my
That
first
is the
one
best
ever.
thing.
So many other people won because they set their PRs.
Endurance sports, the reason why they are so awesome is that everybody, like when you, like I've been to an Ironman before, not that I was involved in it, but everybody that crosses that finish line just won, which is like, obviously there's a winner, but like, it is just it's you versus your own body and your own mind.
Like you'll see the first person come in, and then the 100th person might be crying even more.
Right,
Than the first
and it's just the best. And like when you are able to, cool. The biggest thing about running is like it's important. That's why it's important to like push yourself with it, because like if you just stay running 3 miles every single time, you might get a little bit faster, but you're not going to be super psyched about it. But if you just try to push yourself, like I'm going to run 4. And then like the next couple weeks, I'm gonna run 5. Like you figure out you can do it.
I think it's more like it's so inspiring, that feeling of whenever you're running, and you're at a point where just a week ago or a couple weeks ago you would have been dying, or you would have been like, I need to walk, and you're like thinking in my head, I think I have more though. That is what is really inspiring to me, is whenever I'm like, I think I have more. I think I can sprint the rest of this. I think you know what? I ran faster this 200 meters than the last 200 meters. And
it's a mental battle for sure.
That's what I used to run with that like Nike Run Club, and they would have like a coach in your ear.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the dumbest thing I ever heard the first time I heard it. It was on like one of our like 4 or 5 miles run, 4 or 5 mile runs with them. And I was like running through a tough part. Because they always explained the third quarter is the hardest part of the run. Because like once you get past the third quarter, then you can see the finish line metaphorically. Like you're like, I can taste it. For my half marathon, that wasn't completely true, because the fourth quarter was when I was in unknown territory. But for most runs, it's true. It's like when I'm running 10 miles and I get to mile 7.5, I'm like, oh, I'm almost home. But then mile like 5 to 7.5 is a brutal stretch, and that's when you like run your slowest.
You're like, I can't believe I just now finished the halfway point. I just
turned around.
I'm toast.
And so what they would tell you is like, they're like, make yourself smile, because smiling like releases different like endorphins, and it'll like trick your mind.
I love the coaches, dude.
And so
I like Nike coaches.
So I thought that was the dumbest thing, but on one of those runs, I was in a dark place. I was running really slow. My legs hurt, and I was like, frick this dude. And I was like, you know what? I'll smile. And so I smiled, and sure enough, you just felt better.
Dude.
It was like instantly. So on this half marathon, when I got to like the halfway point, I was actually excited at that point, because I was like, wow, I feel really good. And B, I was like, the rest of this way, I need to smile as much as I can, because like that's going to make me feel better. So when I got to like mile 11, I was starting to get into a dark place, and I like tried smiling, but I was like, but like once I like, there was a few times where like the smile worked. Like every once in a while, you'll smile, and you just feel this like wave of energy. And I'm like, oh, I remember
finishing some of those runs on that, using that app, and just being so dead and being like, that wasn't even that fast. And then that coach would hop on there and be like, hey man, sick run. Be like, you know what? You could have stayed inside today, but you won the day. You got out there and you kicked that runs button. I was like, I did, man. I won the day today. I got out here and ran. Those things got me fired up.
The other thing that the coach on there said at one point, that I still like think through when I'm running, is it was during one of the like, I think it was during a 5K. It was like you're trying to set your PR for your 5K.
Okay.
And so during the last stretch, obviously if you're trying to set your PR for a 5K, you're pushing yourself really hard during that last like mile. And he said something about like, during this, stop thinking about your pace. Think about, what are your feet doing? Now think about what your knees are doing. Now think about what your arms are doing. Now think about your breathing. And like, when I focused on that, because like when I was trying to set this PR for my 5K, I didn't do it. I was on a really hilly thing. I was actually in Tennessee, but I was running up this hill, and when I did that, it made my mind shift away from like, this sucks, I hate my life right now.
It is crazy.
To like, what are my legs doing?
Yeah.
And so that's another thing. Like when I got to like mile 12, after when I was running down those next few hills, that was what I told myself. I was like, all right, what are your feet doing? And then once I started thinking about it, I was like, how do my mind says I'm about to die. Yeah. And then I was like, what do my legs actually feel like?
It's literally
And then
so
I like start
crazy.
riding, like, my legs really actually don't feel that bad if I think about it.
It is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how you can feel like tired in your legs, but if you really like can't make your mind switch to like, no, it's not that big of a deal, and like really focus on how it actually feels, you find out you're like, this really isn't even that painful. Yeah, like this isn't really that painful. Like your body's real limit is when your body stops, like it shuts down.
Your mind shuts down way before your body.
Exactly. Oh, so
that's
much.
What.
So much.
That's the like. I used to hate running with a passion when we started running. I was like this. I'll never be a runner. But what I loved about it is once you got to like longer runs, you realized how much you can actually do versus how much your mind thinks you can do. Because like so many of the long runs, I would get to like a point and my mind was like when I do a long run, I do it out and back.
Somebody just called and hung up on me from Rock Hill.
And so I'd be like 4.5 miles
Mr.
out
USDGC.
or
Fortitude
something
Hill.
where I'm like trying to come back home and I like just turned around, or I might be on like an 8-mile run. I got like 3 miles in and my mind is like dead. Mm-hmm. But then I can like, if I just start thinking a lot about like, well, your legs actually feel fine and your heart rate's low and you're breathing fine. Like you're breathing through your nose right now. You're completely fine. What? Like you're just bored, Hunter. Like you have 30 minutes left.
Right.
You're just bored.
Boredom, that's honestly.
They're calling you again.
Do I answer this? It's from Rock Hill.
Not on air. You don't. We'll just end the podcast anyways. We're an hour in, but your mind stops you way before your body does.
I was gonna say really quick that sounds just like something that I just read in the book I'm reading, which is The Boy and His Horse and the Chronicles of Narnia. Because so basically this horse in the book, his name is Bree, and he's a Narnian horse, so he's a talking horse. Like he's like a smart horse. But he was captured and enslaved to the one of the other cities that's not a free land like Narnia, and so he's been a slave war horse for like his whole life. And it's been like the fastest horse in the fleet, all this stuff. Well, he eventually escapes and wants to go to Narnia and to be a free horse. And this little boy's like riding on his back and everything. At one point, they're like running, trying to outrun an army that's behind them. And you hear like the whole like narration of like what's going on in everybody's head and stuff like that. And like in Bree's head, he's running as fast as he can. But in Shasta, the little boy's head that's on his back, he thinks, I think that if there was, instead of me on the horse's back, letting the horse go as fast as it wants, if there was a slave owner on top, like if there was this horse's slave owner on top of its back, whipping him and making him go faster, he would realize that his body actually has much more capability than his mind is willing to let him go, which is what you just said. And so what ended up happening was they ended up getting chased by lions, and then the horse realized that it could run faster.
And kicked in next year.
And it kicked in the next gear. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So next up, I think the goal is Brody, Jason, hopefully Trevor, myself, and Kyle. We're going to try to run, well, we're not going to try. We're going to run a marathon about a year from now.
Wow.
Which is terrifying because I think of like I finished that half marathon and that'd be lap 1.
Dang.
And I'd be like, all right, do it again.
That's crazy.
So we'll see.
You think Brody's legs can handle that?
Yeah, Brody's excited for it.
That was my wife's grandparents calling me to sing me happy birthday.
I wish you would have answered on it.
Basically, the sweetest thing ever. They live in South Carolina. Although I didn't realize they live in New Bern.
Yeah.
So that's not super close to Rock Hill.
I don't
so I don't know
think
why
it
it
is.
came
Probably
in as
just the
Rock
same
Hill.
area code.
Yeah.
Because like my area code, I would say I'm calling you from Roanoke.
Fair enough.
All right, well there it is. That's the banter. Do we need to make a
Great
sound?
job.
Gosh, dude. I mean, there's like a 0% chance I don't run today at what cost of my legs. I have to. Because Kenzie went for a run yesterday, and it was real nice out, and I was very jealous.
It was, dude.
We
took Bruno to the dog park yesterday.
I might just force myself to run, to just injure
It's
myself.
the worst thing to do on your ankles.
It
Although you've rested your ankles for far too long at this point.
But the thing is,
Get back on the horse.
When I
get
go
back
to
on
the
your own
gym,
legs. Don't use the
I
horse's
warm
legs.
up with a jog, but I never go more than a mile. But I jog I jog a few times a week. But like when I press on my ankles, I'm not really feeling the pain.
If you don't feel the pain, you're ready.
Every once in a while, I feel like I feel a twinge, but dude,
You don't feel the pain. You're ready for the game.
I am fully prepared to get back out there running. I love running.
When I'm
I
fully
miss
prepared, your ankles are in shambles.
it. I don't know. Maybe they're not.
Yeah.
I need a diagnosis.
I think I'm gonna get a Garmin watch.
Dude,
Fish finder?
I want a Garmin too, just for the body battery joke. Honestly,
I don't even want it for the body battery joke. I want it for the body battery period.
I want to be able to. Although I feel like after seeing Brody use the body battery, I feel like it might be a psychological warfare situation.
I kind of feel that way
because
too.
it can't
I feel
be.
like that can't
it might not be
good
that
for you.
accurate, and then you're gonna be like, I'm only on 20%. No
But
wonder
what
I
it
suck
does-
today.
but-
Yeah,
what it
I feel like
does-
it's an easy excuse.
But what it does is it'll like it uses your like sleep and all of that to then recommend what like running workout you should do that day.
Yeah,
So like I could wake up and look and be like,
I
I sleep.
I
like
feel like it
trash.
just
That's
allows you to justify being.
yeah,
a
I want to
butthead.
suffer though.
I feel like it justifies you being a baby and a butthead.
Yeah.
I watch those videos, man. I edited them.
I mean, it was mostly ironic though. We were
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was.
I do want one though. I like the Garmins a lot. Garmin, if you're listening, man,
Send them.
Send
them our way.
Brad, if you're listening, get them to send them.
Connor, what noise do we make?
We're gonna make the sound of.
Here, I got
Let's
one.
do our impression of Brody looking at his
body
checking
battery.
his body.
Yeah, that's
Is that what you were gonna say?
Connor.
Not good, man. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make this happen. I'm at 39% right now.
Like, oh, dark horse, man. Body battery's juiced right now. Only at 37%. It's only 10 a.m.
I'm just not throwing far. Body battery's only at 35%. I'll tell you.
We gotta start doing impressions more often. That's
Yeah,
funny.
that is funny.